obviously a much better second half than first half. But I thought defensively, great strides from, especially in the first half, from where we were with the 2 exhibition games. And I thought our depth helped us. Obviously, Jazz, in the second half was a huge boost for us. And then there's not going to be many halves where Cody and Caleb don't score. And I thought that we made a couple adjustments against their zone where we put Caleb Martin on the same side of their zone that Childs was on, and I thought that helped us get him in foul trouble. He was, he's a key component, one of the best big men in the country. And then obviously, Caleb mixed in some threes along with some dribble drives, and we've been so good since I've been here at getting to the foul line. And I thought that was a big key for us as well. But I thought there was a lot of contributions. A guy that probably is not going to be talked a lot about was Trey Thurman. We thought he was phenomenal for us defensively on Childs.
Questions for Coach? What do you think was the reason behind such big strides defensively since the first 2 games that we saw you guys?
I think, Chris, just because we've got an opportunity to work on it. Everybody keeps writing we have 4 starters returning, and they're including Lindsey Drew, who's, hasn't done anything with us right now, and we really have 3 returning players. And so we're, I don't feel comfortable with the rotation right now. We're still trying to figure this thing out. And this was it's important that we figure it out, and we still try to win games while we're figuring it out. And I really truly believe we'll be a different team 2 weeks from now, even than we are today. And we just got to keep trying to figure it out defensively. And the guys that defend are going to be the guys that play, because we know that that's an area that we want to continue to get better at.
You guys were tied at half, but Caleb and Cody hadn't scored and really had only played 14 minutes. are you pretty happy that you're in that position and that Jordan was able to do a lot in that first half to keep you guys tight without those 2?
Yeah, I thought JC, Jordan Caroline did a great job of keeping us in the game from an offensive standpoint. And so, as we've done since I've been here in the first half, if a guy gets 2 fouls, they don't play, and we felt like those guys would be really, really well rested, and as long as BYU didn't get up 7 or 8 or 9, we were just going to continue to roll that way.
Coach, what about Jazz Johnson? Some great contributions there, and I think home fans were kind of looking forward to seeing that sort of thing. That was his reputation.
Yeah, no, Jazz is a really, really tough kid. And the thing about Jazz and Niz and Corey is all 3 of those guys shoot the ball really well every day. And they shot the ball really well last year. And even at halftime, a couple of our veteran players said, hey, you guys got to keep shooting shots because we need your outside perimeter threat. And I thought Jazz's 12 points off the bench was really, really vital to us. Him knocking down 3 threes, and even Therm's 3 I thought was really big for us, because we feel him at the 4 or 5, he's going to be able to make an occasional 3 that we need him to. And we made a decision to play smaller than maybe what we've been working on in training camp because of the fact that they played zone and we needed perimeter shooting.
Did you think they'd play that much zone?
We really didn't, because they basically played man-to-man in their 2 exhibition games. But I'm sure that they talked to Washington, and I'm sure that Washington probably told them we struggled against the zone. And we've gone back and watched that Washington tape, and at the 4:50 mark, Trey Thurman had a tip dunk that we were like within 7, and so we played a bad 5 minutes to end the game, uncharacteristic of us. But again, I think we're still trying to figure out who we are. For us to walk out and see that crowd, incredible. Tuesday night, 8 o'clock start. That's what a top 10 team, that's what their crowds are like. The student I drove up at, 6 o'clock, and there's, a line of students. We hope that everybody that came tonight feel like they're entertained and we can get them back on Friday because right now, we are a top 10 team and we got a game on a Friday night. This place should be rocking and we hope we can come close to a sellout again.
The first 30 minutes were a little rough. I mean, is that to be expected with a season opening first game?
Yeah, I don't. It's funny because I was sitting at home before the game, and I was watching some different games. I was actually watching North Carolina played on the road, and you're not gonna separate from a team in the first 20 minutes. It's not enough time, and so when you watch these games on TV, and it's funny because. I was driving in and I was talking to my son Matthew and I said, hey, I got to keep my composure because, we got all this hype and stuff and we're not just going to walk out there and, BYU's really good, really good. They cut hard, they're smart, they're well coached, they're grown men, they're physical. So we expected a really, really close game. We did not. I was, I'm a little bit, I'm happy that we, opened it up towards the end of the game, but we expected a really hard fought game.
Keep your composure at halftime?
Yeah, I was pretty cool for me.
Obviously, getting Caleb back to start that second half was big, but offensively, you guys go from shooting 25% up to 50%. Why were you better offensively in the second half?
We just made. Honestly, Chris, I think if someone gave me a 1 and said, what could you change about college basketball? We have all this practice time, and 2 exhibition games is not enough. To get your rhythm. I don't feel comfortable as a coach subbing right now. It's the first time that I haven't felt comfortable since I've been here, and it's because there's a reason the NFL has exhibition games. There's a reason Major League Baseball has spring training. There's a reason the NBA has 6 exhibition games. Why can't we play? I don't understand why we can't at least do more closed-door scrimmages. It would be good for the players as well.
Are you looking for anything in particular out of someone like Jordan Brown, or is it just kind of getting him acclimated to,
we went with a bunch of guards in the second half. They opened up the game, and when Cody and Caleb play 8 minutes or whatever in the first half, they're going to probably play 20 minutes. 100 out of 100 games. I'll probably play him the whole second half, and so there's not a lot of minutes because the way Caroline was playing, he was playing phenomenal.
So I guess what did you learn about your team tonight if you're still kind of trying to figure out?
I think there was like a lid on the bucket, Chris. I think we played a little bit tight, shooting the ball, and I think things will change from here on out. I really do. I think we'll start knocking down a lot of shots, which is what we expected coming into the season. We thought Jazz and Niz and Corey, when people went zone, we thought those guys come in and just start hitting shots, and we know JC can hit 3 balls, and we know, Cody's an improved 3-point shooter, and Caleb obviously gets real hot, and we know Trey Thurman can keep the defense honest as well. And then I think when you add in Porter down low, it gives you another dimension as far as lobs and stuff against a zone.
Did your depth kind of show up in that first half? There's not a lot of games where your 2 big stars don't score, and then you're in a good position. How much more comfortable do you feel in that position, being able to sit them and not worry about it?
I think 2 things. One, Chris, since I've been here, we don't really get in foul trouble because they all know there's no subs, and then that hurts your defense. And the truth of the matter is, I think Cody and Caleb trust their teammates. And so I think they got after it more defensively, and that's why we held them to 31% in the first half, because we were physical. We were trying to jump in passing lanes. We were gambling and getting a few unnecessary fouls to some degree. But in these other games, when these guys got a foul, I would call them over and whisper in their ear and say, hey, don't, I can't tell you how many times I told Lindsey Drew, do not foul again this half. And, I didn't tell the guys that tonight.
You said you drove over with your son. Will you drive back with him and debrief? And you've been doing
This was on the phone. Yeah, my son in the Bay Area. My son here. He talks to me too much, so he does. He's definitely not going to ride anywhere with me.
A lot of fouls called in that game. Does that benefit you guys to some degree because of how often you like to get to the free throw line and how much more depth you have this year?
Yeah, I think I think that BYU draws fouls because they cut hard. They're really good at spacing and they cut hard and move hard. And then with us, I mean, I think that we, for however many years, 3 years now, we just really attack the rim. And when you hit a couple threes, it opens that up. And then, obviously we try to get out and transition as much as possible as well.
Coach, what's playing it off like you might not play in this game? Did you know?
I didn't know I was going to play. The guy didn't practice for like 10 days.
Questions for Jordan.
Well, why were you practicing? Just a little ankle sprain?
Yeah, that's when I'm going to practice.
So did you not practice like leading up to this game at all?
I practiced yesterday, and that was the first time, since Wednesday.
So, I mean, you play with a lot of energy to start, but maybe even a little bit more fresh heading into this one.
Yeah, I would say so.
When you do see the two Martin twins go out in that first half, I mean, do you feel like you need to do a little bit more? Did you feel like you had to carry the team for a stretch to make sure you guys were close heading in that second half?
I wouldn't say I necessarily have to do it anymore. I just try to do what I do. And then I know we have such a talented team that they'll pick up the slack. They're really good players, and they're hard to replace. But we have so many pieces on this team that can help you and hurt you and help you in so many ways. So I wasn't too worried when they went out.
How would you overall assess this game as you're still trying to figure out your teammates and still trying to figure the rotation out?
I mean, I would take it as a positive. We struggled in the first half a little bit, but then we started clicking in the second half. And I feel like we have we're so talented. There's so many different lineups we can throw at you, which I think helps too. Because I think towards the end of the game we went with a smaller lineup, which worked better for the zone, like a zone buster lineup. And I think it just depends on the situations where we'll go with our lineups. But I think it showed we have a lot of potential.
So you're supposedly moving to small forward, but then you tie a career record in rebounds tonight. I mean, what was working for you getting to the glass and getting toward the basket?
I mean, honestly, it's easier for me to rebound from the 3 spot because I'm not trying to rebound with 7-footers all night. So it's easier for me to read the ball and fly in. So, yeah.
I mean, one of the big question marks after the exhibitions were how you guys were going to defend. I mean, you played really 2 good defensive halves in this game. Where have you improved defensively since we last saw you?
The biggest thing I think is trusting each other and communication. I would say those are the biggest things. We have a lot of talking going on the floor, which really helps a lot. And we know if you get beat, your next man has your back. So we all try to play really, really well for each other, especially on the defensive end.
You said you hadn't practiced since last Wednesday, and yesterday was your first practice.
Yeah.
What happened? You said you sprained the ankle.
Yeah, I just came down on DC's foot. It wasn't nothing too major.
You know pretty much that you were going to play.
I was going to play if no matter what. If I was in a cast, I would have been playing.
Jordan, lots of whistles, lots of balls kind of taking crazy bounces and stuff like that. And you were a big part of some of the physical stuff. Is that to be expected from a first game, from any team? Or did that surprise you?
No, I would say that's pretty much, first couple games is always the officiating's, pretty tough, like on calls. So, I mean, it's nothing unexpected, and just each game has its own identity, and I think that's what today was.
Questions for Caleb?
So start number 7 in the season. I think it was the 15th largest crowd in Waller history, and you had to sit on the bench for the majority of the first half. How tough was that? Can you just talk about watching your team throughout the first half, and what was going through your head at that time?
I mean, nothing really. I expect the same thing whether I'm on or off the court. I got the utmost confidence in my teammates that are in. If me and Cody both are on the floor, we got a lot of talent. We got a lot of good shooters. So I was telling our shooters, a couple of them wasn't falling, but they're the best shooters on the team right now. So they got the confidence. So they just keep needing us and our teammates and the coaches to keep giving them confidence and that leash to keep pulling it. And when our shooters Jazz came in and knocked down some really big shots for us and opened up the lead for us and, kind of separate ourselves. So, nothing really changed. I'm going to keep the same energy while I'm on and off the court. I'll be mad at myself for fouling or trying to figure out a different way to play defense so I can stay on the court. But, I expect the same thing regardless. So, it didn't really bother me too much.
It seemed like you guys did open up that lead when you went to your smaller group. What was it about that smaller group tonight that was so successful?
Just perimeter shooting, like guys that we could ricochet the ball a lot quicker, get the defense moving. I think it kind of slows it up. It's kind of hard to play 2 bigs or go big whenever you're in the zone because, they got the lane compacted. And it's kind of hard, and that's what, in a zone, that's kind of what you want. You want bigs to put on the floor so guards can come in and dig the ball out and get turnovers and that kind of stuff. So I think that we were really effective with our small lineup in there to be able to spread their zone and get in the middle and set screens to come off and pick and pop. We just had a lot of different good looks with the small lineup.
Going into this game, was there anything in particular that you were, as a team, really trying to hone in on, focusing on one area and everything else would fall into place, or is it kind of a,
there's a couple of things. Obviously, two of their best players, Haas and Childs, they were two big keys for them. Those are the guys that were going to either mostly make or break them. Just kind of hone in on them, build a wall so they don't come and get easy baskets in transition. They're a sneaky, fast-paced team. You look at them on TV and you watch the film on them. They don't look really that fast until you start playing them in person. Kind of like a couple other teams in our league. I mean, they're the kind of guys that they go at their own pace, and they're really good at getting downhill, and they're really unselfish, so they know how to pass the ball and get guys open for extra passes. And they're just a really smart team, so we just had to be really disciplined and make sure we stick to our principles.
Coach has been stressing defense a lot, especially after, let's say, the second half of the Washington exhibition.
Mm-hmm.
Between that day and today, has it just been constant practice work? Is that making the difference? I mean, you held these guys to 37% shooting.
Yeah, I mean, that's been a big thing for us after watching the game, is just not letting guys taking pride and not letting them score. You gotta man up and keep your man in front of you, and the help's got to be there if not, because guys do get tired and there are slip-ups that happen in the game, and guys got to be in the right spot to help the helper. So, defenses, I mean, we can be a really good defensive team. We're long, we're athletic, we can block shots, we can cover a lot of ground. So, I mean, yeah, it's been a big thing for us. It's been a big thing even before Washington, but I think a good slap in the face was good for us to really, to really hone in on that and make sure our guys know that we're not just going to win games walking in the building.
How much did playing Washington zone help you for this, or BYU kind of sat in the zone most of the game?
It was huge. I mean, Washington's so athletic and so long, and you got guys up there at 6'5" plus on the top, and you got guys that are 6'9" at the bottom, so that can move and they're athletic. So it was really good for us to see that for the first time, and it really helped us there, because you never know that we could have had the same outcome this time if Washington would have went zone. I mean, if Washington would have went man the first time we saw him. So it was really good for us we got to practice and figure out a couple other things to do against zone defense. So it really helped us out a lot, actually. So, I mean, that was a big thing for us. So, and obviously we know teams are going to talk to each other, and they know how we reacted to the zone, which wasn't well the first time against Washington. So, I mean, and we know that two teams are going to try to take advantage of that. So we just got to be ready.
When we talked to you last week, you said this isn't a top 10 team. Do you feel like after this performance you could say this is a top 10 team?
I mean, we still got a lot of work to do, honestly. Like, we played well we had a good second half and stuff, but I'm not going. I mean, I always think that we have spurts and stuff to where I'm like, oh yeah, we can be a really good team, really, and we can be a top 10 team. We have those spurts, but we're not where we're at, nowhere close. Honestly, we still got a lot of work to do, and we got guys that are starting to step. We got guys that are starting to step up, and we got our starters kind of starting to gel a little bit, and we're getting guys to the right mindset, for the team, and it's all coming along. It's coming along, and I think we really got better in these last 2 weeks of practicing since Washington and from these exhibition games, and we've taken a lot of notes and got a lot of positive feedback from guys on our team. And I mean, I think we're heading in the right direction. I think by the end of it, I think I can say that we are playing like a top 10 team. But as of right now, I just think that we're just doing what we need to be doing.
I wouldn't say you guys played like especially well, but you still beat a really good team by 16. I mean, how does that? I mean, sit with you. That you guys didn't play your best game.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like you said, that's one of the first things I said to, who was that? I think I said to Gus. I think I said to Coach Gus after the game. I was like, we still got knockdown shooters like Corey and Niz still not even shooting the ball to the best of their ability, or even half. Like, like those guys are flat out knockdown shooters. Jazz is flat out knockdown shooter. So those guys that are coming in, and Jazz took huge strides in what Coach wanted him to do in today, and the thing is that we did beat them by 16. We still don't have Corey and Niz shooting the way that we know that they can shoot. Trey came in and gave us huge minutes. He gave us great energy and stuff. But I guess that's a good thing to look at, is that we got guys still not even playing all the way up to their potential yet. So that's good.
Cody had 11 assists tonight. What was kind of working in terms of him getting involved in the offense and that?
I mean, he's just. He just finds guys. I mean, when you got guys like Jazz coming in hitting, and then I started heating up a little bit in the second half, and you got Trey coming off the bench, can hit a three and knock down threes, and And then, you know, you got Trey Porter where you can throw lobs and stuff like that. It's easy. It's easier for Cody because he is a pass-first. He is a true point guard, a pass-first point guard. And since he's so big up top, I mean, he can see, you know, he can see everybody. He can see the lob. He can see the guy that cross court, the skip in the corner. And then he can go off the dribble and make plays himself. So, I mean, he's just a versatile player. I mean, so that doesn't really surprise me seeing him. I'm really happy that he had 11 assists, but, I mean, it doesn't really surprise me, honestly.
Coach kind of said that, you know, you getting 2 fouls may be a result of you trusting your teammates a little bit more and being more aggressive on defense. I guess, would you agree with that assessment that you guys can play a little bit more aggressive on defense because you're not worried about who's behind you?
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing I'm really trying to work on myself, regardless of how many fouls I have, is trying to play without fouling, but play aggressive on the defensive end and try to lock my man down. I mean, that's one thing I've really been trying to focus, trying to talk to my brother and guys and like Corey and guys like that are really good on defense that use certain techniques to get through screens or, you know, trail guys or whatever. I'm trying to steal little pieces from their game on that end of the floor. But yeah, like it does give me confidence to play hard on the defensive end and maybe reach or gamble a little bit, and maybe if I get a foul or whatever, because I know I got good players behind me. So.
Questions for Jazz?
Jazz, exhibitions are one thing, but you must have been pretty pumped up to play in front of 11,000 in a game that counted after having to sit out. Could you expand on that a little bit?
For sure. Honestly, the fans were big. Like you said, the exhibitions are one thing. And I didn't shoot the best in those exhibitions and even the first half of this game. But, you know, being able to have the fans here and, you know, hear how proud they are of us and how much they want us to win, it really pumped me up and just elevated my game and allowed me to make shots in the second half.
You really kind of broke this one wide open with those threes in the second half. You know, just sitting out all the last year and hearing, you know, the crowd and everything. How much have you been waiting for a moment like that?
Man, been waiting a year plus for this. Like I said, like I haven't been shooting the best, but, you know, it's been a whole year since I've actually played in a real game. So, you know, being able to finally get my feet wet and really be able to, you know, start knocking down shots in actual game situations, it really helps.
What was the best advice you got for what to do during that year?
During the sit-out year?
Yeah.
Just work, honestly. That's all it is, and that's all I did was just work. When I came here, I was like 205 or something like that, and then I had surgery, jumped up to 215, and now I'm all the way down to 180. So all I've done for that entire sit-out year is just work as hard as I can and try to get better and hopefully fit a role on this team and help the team win.
And how has the coaching staff and just kind of the whole philosophy of the program, like how did you feel that you were incorporated, and you know, how has that led to your ability to come back this season? And
they're just really supportive. They all know, I mean, all the players know, all the coaches know that everybody that sat out last year is going to play a major role in the success we have this year, and we're just really encouraging of each other. And you know, it's at some point everybody's going to show what they can do a little bit, and hopefully it's going to help us.
How important was Caroline in that first half with the Martin twins on the bench, and you know, he really stepped up, had a double-double in the first 15 minutes of the game?
He was big time. Honestly, he held it together for us. You know, with Cody and Caleb being out with foul trouble, he was that steady offense that we could go to. We knew we could get the ball into him, and either he was going to score or he was going to get fouled. The words can't describe how important he was in that first half and how important he was to helping us ultimately win the game.
The defensive issues with the preseason obviously are behind you guys with this performance. What did you guys do better defensively in this game?
We scouted really well. I can say that the coaches did a really good job at scouting really well and knowing everything they did and player tendencies. We still have a long way to go, but ever since the Washington game, practice has been focused on defense primarily. We start every practice with defensive drills. So, you know, like I said before, Washington game was, and like Caleb said as well, Washington game was a slap in the face, and it was a wake-up call for everybody. And it just helped us figure out that we really have to get better on defense.
You really sat in that zone basically the entire game. Did you feel like it was just a matter of time before one of you guys got hot and really blew this thing open?
For sure. I mean, we all encourage each other to keep shooting. Coach Muss, I can honestly say never really tells anyone to not shoot. So, you know, the open looks everyone was getting, it was, you know, they were going to fall at some point. We didn't shoot that well in the first half, but I knew with the way that we have the ability to shoot that shots were going to fall at some point.
Do you feel like what you just said, I mean, do you feel like the team in general, people are kind of encouraged to, you know, be creative or to try things and not be sort of afraid of, you know, missing or failure?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Muss actually before this game actually told us to play loose and have fun, and you know that's what we tried to do. You know, shots didn't fall in the first half, whatever, but you know we were still playing. You know what I'm saying? And then second half when shots start falling, everything's a lot easier.
Is it almost like is having this finally be the season and not an exhibition game? Is it almost kind of easier to like get into the rhythm of the game, or you know, is it still kind of?
Yeah, for sure now, especially now that, you know, since games are so close together now, so it's like we're constantly in game mode, we're constantly scouting, we're constantly preparing for the next game. So it's easy to just, you know, lock in and focus on what you need to do for that specific game or for the season in general.
As I count 7 players with at least 21 minutes, including yourself, do you have to be ready to come in any situation? Maybe you'd be the small guy in a tall lineup, or maybe it's a small lineup. Is that something that the coaching staff is telling you to be ready at any point?
Yeah, all of us have to be ready at any point because, I mean, we didn't know that Cody and Caleb were going to get in foul trouble early in the first half. And we just, you know, every person that comes off the bench, me, Corey, Niz, or Trey, you know, we have to be ready to come off and produce. And, you know, it didn't necessarily translate first half, like I said before, but second half, everyone got in the flow, and it ended up working out.
What was the feeling when you stepped on the court and you saw a sold-out arena, basically, to watch you guys play?
It was amazing, honestly. Coming from Portland, where we would get maybe 2,000, 3,000 people in the game, it was just, you know, it was eye-opening, and it was amazing to look at, to see how many people really support us and want to see us do well. And like I said before, like, their support is everything for us, you know. Like during the droughts that we would have throughout the game, Muss would try his best to get the crowd going, and you know they get going, and then all of a sudden we go on a run, you know. So their support is everything to us.